Welcome to English 7 Daily Podcast, the place where you improve your English every single day simply by listening.
Welcome, friends. My name is Yusuf, and I am a barber. My world is one of combs, scissors, and warm conversations. Come with me through a single day at my salon, where every client has a story and every haircut is a small act of service. The true day begins in the sacred quiet of the early morning, in that tranquil hour before the world truly wakes up and my clients arrive. I turn the old brass key in the lock, and the door swings open with its familiar, gentle creak. Stepping inside, I am embraced by the clean, honest scent of my salon. Bay rum, the faint, sharp smell of sterilizing solution, and the simple fragrance of laundered cotton. A pillar of sunlight, thick with swirling dust motes, pours through the large front window, painting a bright rectangle on the checkered tile floor. This is my meditation. I move slowly, with purpose. I wipe down the mirrors until they are flawless, hang the fresh striped capes on their polished hook, and methodically lay out my scissors, combs, and clippers on the neat towel beside my station. Each tool is cleaned and checked, a ritual of respect for the craft and for the men who will trust me with their appearance. Finally, I take my broom and sweep yesterday's fallen hair into a small, soft pile, each tiny strand a silent memory of a shared story, a concern confided, or a joke that made us laugh. The space is now clean, ordered, and waiting. I take a deep breath, feeling a sense of calm readiness. The first footsteps of the day will soon approach the door, and the worn leather of my barber's chair is ready to welcome its first friend. Right on time, the bell above the door jingles softly. It's Mr. Hassan, a retired history teacher whose punctuality is as reliable as the sunrise. He greets me with a warm, familiar nod, hanging his simple cap on the stand by the door. "A peaceful morning to you, Yusuf," he says, his voice a low, comfortable rumble. "And to you, Mr. Hassan," I reply, already shaking out a crisp cape. As he settles into the embrace of the leather chair, I feel the familiar, practiced weight of him. He asks after my son, and I share a small victory, helping him build a model plane that finally took flight in our living room. With a gentle touch, I wrap the cape around his shoulders, the snap of the fastener a soft punctuation in our conversation. The first touch of the comb through his fine silver hair is where the work truly begins. He prefers a classic, dignified cut. "Just tidy it up, Yusuf. Keep me looking respectable." The snip of my shears starts a steady, soothing rhythm, a sound that seems to slow the world down just a little bit. Our talk drifts easily, like the soft hair falling to the floor. He tells me about his roses, how a particular yellow one is finally blooming after a careful battle with aphids. I listen, nodding, as I work with careful precision around his ears. He speaks of the patience required in gardening, the quiet reward of nurturing something. In this chair, he isn't just a client, he is a storyteller, a teacher once more, and I am his grateful student. The haircut is simple, but the 20 minutes we share is rich. With a final dust of the brush on his neck and a splash of cool rosewater tonic, he examines his reflection, gives a satisfied smile, and pats my arm. "Thank you, my friend. Until next time." As he leaves, the shop feels warmer, already filled with the residue of good company and shared understanding. The day has properly begun. The gentle arrival of clients soon establishes a familiar and productive rhythm. My colleague Ahmed arrives with his cheerful greeting, and the quiet shop begins to hum with a low, harmonious energy. Now 2 chairs are occupied, 2 sets of tools are at work. The distinctive buzz of Ahmed's clippers blends with the precise metallic snip, snip, snip of my scissors, creating a kind of industrious music. The air fills with the murmur of men's voices, not loud or boisterous, but a steady exchange of thoughts. They discuss the local football team's chances, the price of dates in the market, and sometimes quieter philosophies about life, family, and faith. A cloud of sweet, warm steam rises as I reach for a hot towel from the warmer, its moist heat a small luxury for the next client. There are no televisions or radios here to steal our attention. The focus is complete, on the line of a fade, the symmetry of a beard trim, on the person in the chair. A young man, perhaps a university student, enters shyly, showing me a picture on his phone of a sophisticated, modern style. We discuss it carefully. I examine the shape of his head, the texture of his hair. The picture is a good guide, but we will adapt it so it honors your features. He nods, trusting, and as I begin, his initial tension melts away. This is the heartbeat of the day, a cycle of consultation, focused craft, and effortless talk that flows like the tea we occasionally pause to sip. It is a rhythm built on respect, for the work, for the space, and most importantly, for the individual sitting before us. Each head that enters is a new chapter, and each haircut is a sentence carefully written in the ongoing story of the day. In the early afternoon, a quiet lull descends. Ahmed steps out to pray, and my last client has just left, the door clicking softly shut behind him. For a few precious minutes, I am alone again. I take a deep breath and truly look around my sanctuary. The 3 mirrors reflect the orderly rows of bottles, the gleam of the porcelain sinks, and the empty chairs waiting patiently. This shop is more than a business. It is a space built on trust. A man trusts you with his image, and in that vulnerability, a door opens for genuine connection. I move slowly, refilling the amber bottles of sandalwood lotion, straightening the stack of well-thumbed magazines about cars and world geography. The silence is companionable, a chance to gather the threads of the morning's conversations, the joy in one man's voice about his daughter's graduation, the quiet concern in another's about his father's health. I think of the young student who left with a new confidence in his step. Some people ask why the shop is so simple, without the blare of music or other distractions. My answer is always the same. The silence is not empty. It is full of potential. It allows us to focus completely, my hands on the craft, my heart on the person in the chair. It creates a room where a word of encouragement can be truly heard, and a moment of shared silence can be as comfortable as laughter. This simplicity is intentional. It is what turns a routine haircut into a small act of service, and a barber's chair into a place where a man can feel seen just as he is. The bell jingles, breaking the reverie. Ahmed returns, and I see the next client approaching the window. The moment of reflection is over, but its peace remains within me, ready to be shared once more. The golden light of late afternoon slants through the window as my final appointment arrives. It is my regular, brother Amir, with his young son, Zaid, perched proudly on his hip. The boy, who is perhaps 7, has eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and solemn importance. "Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf uncle," he chirps, and his greeting fills the shop with a different, brighter energy. "Wa alaikum salam, Captain Zaid," I reply with a smile. I lower the hydraulic chair to its very bottom, and it gives a soft hiss. "Your command chair is ready," I announce. Zaid scrambles up into it, his small feet dangling far above the footrest. His father stands close by, a hand resting reassuringly on the chair's back. "Just a tidy-up for the young man, please, Yusuf. He wants to look sharp for his cousin's wedding." As I carefully fasten a smaller cape around Zaid's neck, I see him watching my every move in the mirror, utterly fascinated. I show him my comb and let him feel the smooth, cool metal of the scissors before I begin. "The first rule of the spaceship," I whisper conspiratorially, "is to hold very still for the planetary trim." He immediately sits up straighter, a portrait of concentration. His hair is soft and fine. As I work with gentle precision around the delicate curve of his ear, I am transported back to my own first haircut in my grandfather's barber shop. The smell of the talcum powder, the giant's view of the world from that lofty chair, the feeling of emerging more grown up. This is more than a trim, it is a rite of passage. I catch Amir's eye in the mirror, and we share a silent, understanding smile between fathers. With a final feather-light brush of the neck and a triumphant puff of powder, it is done. Zaid beams at his reflection, and his father's proud hand rests on his shoulder. "Shukran, Yusuf uncle." "You are most welcome, Captain," I say. Watching them leave, hand in small hand, I feel a profound sense of completion. The circle of the day, from the wisdom of age to the promise of youth, feels beautifully, perfectly closed. The last echo of Zaid's cheerful goodbye fades, and the familiar, comforting silence of the evening settles over the salon. Outside, the sky softens into hues of orange and lavender, and the distant melodious call to prayer drifts through the slightly ajar door, a gentle signal that the working day is complete. I walk to the front window and turn the sign so that closed faces the quieting street. The ritual of closing is as mindful as the ritual of opening. First, I gather the used capes, feeling the day's invisible impressions of stories and laughter held in their folds, and place them in the laundry bin. I move from station to station, meticulously wiping every surface, the marble counters, the porcelain sinks, the mirrored shelves, until they gleam under the warm glow of the overhead lights. My tools receive their final respectful care. Each pair of scissors is cleaned and dried, the clippers are oiled and sterilized, and every comb is brushed free of the last stray hairs. The scent of bay rum and rosewater hangs lightly in the still air. Finally, I take my broom and sweep the day's harvest of hair into a neat, soft pile, dark and silver, coarse and fine, all mixed together on the tiles. Each sweep collects the physical remnants of 100 conversations, of confidences shared and burdens lightened. As I empty the dustpan, I feel a deep, fulfilling tiredness in my hands and my shoulders, the honest fatigue of useful work. I stand for a moment in the center of the clean, silent shop. The mirrors now reflect only peace and readiness for tomorrow. Turning off the lights, I lock the door, the solid click of the bolt a final note. Walking home, the cool evening air on my face, I am filled with a quiet gratitude for the trust placed in my hands, for the community that fills these chairs, and for this simple, honorable craft that allows me to serve it, one careful haircut, one respectful conversation at a time.